You are listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I'm ecstatic that you're listening. This episode of a One Pint Stand is proudly sponsored by Dual Citizen Brewing Company, a community-focused brew house that proudly serves both sides of the river. DCBC.com. On this episode, I brought my podcast gear to Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative to interview people at their Hurricane Relief Fundraiser, a craft beer festival held at Broken Clock's tap room in Northeast Minneapolis. The festival's aim was to raise money for the hurricane victims in Asheville, North Carolina. I'd mentioned to Jeremy Matheson, the operations manager at Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative, that I wanted to just help them get the word out about their festival. And then I thought, hey, maybe it might be a good idea for me to record some interviews at the event. He was more than happy to bring me in, and I had an absolute blast at the event talking to different people, both on and off air. I was joined by Matt Holton, one of the owners of Wandering Leaf Brewing, Answer Tolgar, the head brewer at Storm King Brew Pub, who used to actually work in North Carolina, among other places, for Oscar Blues, and he is very near and dear to that place, and he understands the tight-knit community there and the people there. Lastly, I interviewed Katie Meyer, who is the director of fun at Gambit Brewing, as well as Jeremy, to give me the lowdown on how the event came together. Ultimately, when it was all said and done, the festival raised nearly $6,000 in hurricane relief funds that will be donated to the American Red Cross. I was really happy to be able to just do this little small thing to help. So let's head out to the Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative tap room for the Hurricane Relief Fundraiser. Cheers. Welcome to another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. I'm here at the Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative with my good friend, Jeremy Matheson, and we are here at this event, Hurricane Relief Fundraiser. To give you a little background on the info, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that the Asheville area, a lot of areas were hit with a hurricane damage, but specifically Asheville, and Asheville is known to many as a craft beer destination. I think they were named Beer City, USA multiple times, and the Asheville beer community was absolutely devastated. And so I kind of watched and saw this event kind of come to be. And Jeremy, why don't you, I want to know kind of from the logistical standpoint of from the time we're enjoying some fabulous guest taps. I've got the Mind the Gap ESB from Unmapped in Minnetonka, Minnesota. One of my favorite beers. I did a little Balky happy dance when I saw that was on the menu. So Jeremy, do you want to, well, first of all, introduce yourself and say your specific title here at Broken Clock, and then I'm going to pepper you with questions about how this event came to be.
Sounds like a plan. So Jeremy, I'm the operations manager and community outreach here at Broken Clock. That's kind of my role and my job here.
Yeah, and I am also an owner.
That's right.
I'm a member of this wonderful cooperative here in Northeast Minneapolis. I remember several months ago, I think you had posted in the Facebook Minnesota Craft Beer Industry page, just kind of floating an idea out there about, hey, really like to do something. Would anybody else be interested? Talk to me about your impetus for wanting to do that.
Yeah. So this started, like you said, a month and a half or so ago, and it really started as a conversation. I was sitting down with a friend of mine, Ashley, and I was telling her that I felt so helpless because I don't have any actual skills that would allow me to go down to North Carolina and help all of these victims. And she kind of looked at me and she's like, we have beer. And I was like, yeah. She's like, why don't we just get a bunch of our friends together, throw in some kegs, and we'll just do a fundraiser. And I was like, oh, I guess that is something we can do. So basically that's where the idea came from. And literally the next day, because there's a lot of licensing things that you have to go through in order to put something like this on.
Yeah.
I immediately just threw out there to a Facebook group like, hey, this is what we're thinking of doing. Is anyone willing to donate a keg? And, literally immediately people were throwing in their hats in the ring to want to be a part of this thing. And it happened just so fast. Like we didn't even have, once I got that post and I had, a handful of places committed, I was like, okay, I can kind of let that do its thing while I'm going through the legal process of making sure that we can actually pull this thing off. And that was really kind of how it all kind of came to be. And looking back on it, it's like, man, if we would have had like 6 to 8 months to plan this out, we could have had 100 breweries, I feel like, because so many people stepped up and how this community is. It's no matter how difficult things are for any one brewery, they're always there to step up to help other people out. And it literally showed in a matter of minutes of posting.
Yeah, I was kind of, watching from afar, and I was like, I had a similar thought. I'm like, well, I want to help somehow, but I don't make beer. I don't like, but I was really like kind of moved by the sentiment of that, wanting to immediately do something. Like what can we do? And I think that, Asheville is such a great place, and the people there are so good. And you talked about so many nice people in the Minnesota beer community that wouldn't even hesitate to just, I'm in. What can I do? That's got to feel so great, knowing full well that like times are tough for breweries. Donating a keg, that's, depending on your size, that's not just an easy thing that people take lightly. But I think at the core of a lot of people who are in the brew house, behind the taps, in brewery ownership, there is just kind of that everybody got into it because they wanted to be part of something. And when you have the opportunity to give something back and benefit another community that, is, that's a ways away. I know there are some Minnesota connections to Asheville, but it's a completely different area. Do you think that there's like, if you would not have stepped up to kind of throw this out there, do you think anybody else would have?
Absolutely. I mean, just look at Forgotten Star, right? They're doing a huge supply drive right now. So I think we just jumped in at a time when we had thought of it, we came up with it, we threw it out there. I think anyone could have come up with the idea. I think it's maybe a little bit more difficult being here in Minnesota because the laws are so restrictive. Like in a lot of places, I think it would have been really easy for us to put something like this together because we could legally just every single day get kegs from another place and do something like this. Whereas this, we had to go through some permitting and a whole bunch of other kind of loopholes to be able to make it happen. But, I think because of that, it made it probably a little bit harder for anyone to just do it. But I think regardless, there would have been something that stepped up. And like I said, Forgotten Stars filling a truck for Pete's sake.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What type of permit did you need to get, or how is it? Maybe explain to listeners who really don't understand why not any brewery can just like have an event like this. What are some of the steps, and what's the process to putting on something like this?
Yeah, so for us being a production brewery that distributes, in order for us to have anything other than our own product that's alcoholic on tap, we have to pull what's called a temporary liquor license, essentially, and it depends on your municipality where you're located. The rules are all a little bit different, and so it's a bunch of paperwork that we have to fill out. We have to pay a fee, and we have to submit all these documents and insurance and blah blah blah, the boring stuff. And then we send that off to the city, and then they go through an approval process, send a piece to the state. But we're allowed to kind of do it a handful of times a year, and so we decided to use this as an opportunity to do one of those things so that we can bring other breweries on tap. Okay.
Yeah, because normally, unless you are a brew pub, you can't really have guest taps.
Correct.
Yeah, I've got the menu in front of me. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different breweries who have beers pouring today, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And there are so many just great different beer styles. And then for a great cause too, there's also I was perusing the raffle table.
It's amazing.
There's some really awesome things that people can win. As you so you get the permit, you start to see breweries kind of jump in. From the time that was happening, what were the next steps to kind of like, making sure it all came together?
Yeah. From there it was all about herding cattle, putting together the list of breweries that are going to donate, and then working with them to figure out, what are they going to donate so we can build menus.
Sure.
Are they willing to donate gift cards or gift baskets for the raffle and things like that, and putting all that together. And then because it's a raffle, finding a charity partner that can pull that off. And thankfully the Red Cross has a local chapter here, so it was pretty easy to kind of line that up. But that was a lot of what it is just going through the logistics of herding everybody together and getting all that done. And I'm not an event planner, so it was extremely hard for me.
Yeah,
because I'm terrible at anything.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it totally is. So that's kind of the big pieces after that, and then figuring out. And on top of it, we've never done anything like this before, so it's how do we do it when we've never done it before? So we have no template to go off of, and we don't want it to run exactly like a beer festival, because then you're gonna have a mad rush running in for one set of beer tenders and some people on a jockey box, so
right?
It's not going to be. So you kind of have to figure out how to navigate that without it being too difficult.
Yeah, was that kind of? I saw on the event started at noon and it goes till 10 p.m. Is that kind of like the reason to just space it out, just in case you did get? I mean, it'd probably be a great problem to have, because you'd be able to, cut a huge check to the Red Cross. But if you showed up today and there's 500 people outside waiting to get in, that might have been. What is the capacity? I mean, this is a big space.
Yeah, I feel like if we did that and we had 500 people outside the door, first of all, we'd probably be slightly over capacity.
Yeah.
But you'd be here, and by 10 o'clock you'd get one sample.
Right.
Because the lines would be so long. So we decided to do an all-day thing so people can kind of trickle in and come throughout the day instead of it being kind of a big line.
Yeah, I think that was a smart way to do it. Ordinarily, on a Friday, this is a nice place to hang out. Plenty of room, a wall of pinball games. The food options here are quite tremendous. And so there really is, there aren't really many better ways to spend a Friday. And so hopefully a lot of people will be coming in and buying raffle tickets, trying to win some cool prizes. drinking a lot of beer. When you looked at the beer list, what jumped out to you? What were you excited about, or were you like, yes, they're bringing that? That's really cool.
I mean, all of it, obviously. It's so cool to have other beer on tap here.
Yeah.
Because you just get to, being in this industry, it sounds weird, but it's always hard to get to other breweries and really enjoy it, and so to have it all here is pretty cool. But a couple of them that are really neat, Back Channel actually did a collaboration beer called Crunchy Tunes. That they actually did with New Origin out in Asheville.
Yeah.
Which is super, super cool and really neat that it's happening right at this time. And to be able to come here and get that beer, and we're actually sending proceeds to help those breweries affected is really neat.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've also got Storm King did a smoked lager that was in the inspiration for that beer was Ansel's first beer that he did when he was in North Carolina. In Asheville. So those two beers I thought were really cool.
Where is he from, or where did he work?
He's from New York.
Okay.
I can't remember where he did it from, but very cool individual. So.
Yeah. I'll have to ask him where he went. Yeah. I know I know one of the salespeople for Wabasha is from there, Wayland, and it's that New Origin connection is really interesting because that's one of the brothers who started Junkyard.
Yep.
And back in the day, I interviewed Dan when he was at Junkyard, and it was like August 26th. It was like the week before school was starting, and it was one of those like 93-degree sunny day, not a cloud in the sky, humid, and I'm supposed to meet him, and I head to the brewery, and he comes in with his wife, who was like 9 months pregnant, ready to pop, and I'm like, is this a good time to do an interview? He's like, oh, yeah, we're fine. We just walked 9 holes. We'll be good. I'm like, oh, my Lord. And so I got to know him through Junkyard, and then when he left, I was like, oh, okay, well, if I ever get out to Asheville, I'll look him up. And sure enough, 2 years ago, I did my big summer beercation out to Asheville and posted on an Asheville craft beer Reddit, just say, hey, Minnesota beer writer coming out, love to visit places, where are some suggestions? And he reached out to me. He's like, I remember you.
Wow.
You should come in, and we'd love to have you and sit down and show you the brewery. And the brewery was beautiful. It just one of the nicest, this is going to sound odd, but one of the nicest brewery bathrooms I've ever been in. And I was like, wow, that's the nicest thing. And he's like, well, I did a lot of talking to people, and one of the things about making breweries places for everyone is if you are going to have a lot of women like a clean bathroom. And so he's like, that was one of the things we prioritized. And I was like, that's so cool. And their space was so cozy, and it's just a lot of breweries that I just fell in love with are just either they were literally destroyed. Mm-hmm. I think about Zillicoa Brewing just outside of Asheville. They did a video, a reel of what the tap room and brewery looked like. It was empty.
Yeah,
all their
crazy
equipment. I mean, when you think about that, and you think of like when I went there, I was like, this is such a cool place, just right there on the river, and it just really breaks your heart. So I'm very excited that you all are doing this, and later on in the show, I'll give specific shout outs to every brewery on the menu, because I think that is absolutely wonderful how people have supported this cause. And I rolled in about 4:00. Have people been finding it?
Yeah, it's a Friday, so most people work during the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely been busier than usual. But it's been kind of a slow roll.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of once we hit that 6:00 and on, it'll get a little busier.
That'll be good. When I walked in, I saw Rob and Sarah from Dangerous Man.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And then I saw Josh and his partner Jesse from Heavy Rotation were here. I think they just left, and so it's kind of fun to see not only people just dropping off kegs, but sticking around
Hanging
and
out,
enjoying
having a beer.
themselves. And this is, I think that all kind of comes back to the community. Have you been to Asheville before?
I have. I actually went to Asheville before the big brewery boom. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went there. Must have been probably 2008, 2009.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And even then, though, just how beautiful the city was.
Yeah.
So many coffee shops and the Biltmore and all of that stuff was just absolutely gorgeous. It was one of my favorite cities, actually. And this was before. I don't even know if there's any breweries really out there then.
I think the only one that would have been was Highlands Brewery because they've been around for 20 years. But yeah, it's a very kind of young by comparison to other places that people speak about as being just like you must visit if you're even lukewarm about beer.
Yeah, and the area is just beautiful.
Yeah,
the area is absolutely.
The Blue Mountain Range, getting out of town, driving up there, and some of those like lookout points, just breathtaking. I thought, what were your thoughts on the Asheville International Airport? I thought that was like having a church basement airport combo.
Luckily, I didn't fly into Asheville. I flew into Charlotte because I had a friend that was graduating. I had a friend that was graduating from Wake Forest.
Oh,
and so we
sure.
flew into Charlotte. We went out there,
Okay.
hung out, and then we drove up to Asheville for a few days.
Okay.
So I never had the experience, but then we flew in and out of Charlotte.
Yeah, it was so very strange. A vineyard vendor, a wine vendor is here.
Winery is here.
Okay. So, I'm back to the permitting now because I'm curious. Does the permitting allow for beverages other than beer to be poured?
Yep, it's a full temporary liquor license. So you can pour anything that falls under, a standard liquor license.
That's interesting. Other than are there any distilleries showing up? Well,
I would have again going back to if I had time.
Sure.
I would have loved to have been like get like 5 or 6 distilleries mixing cocktails or something. I think that would be so cool.
I've heard it through the grapevine that you are quite the mixologist yourself.
Cocktails are my jam.
Yeah. That would be something. See you back doing like the Tom Cruise from Cocktail, juggling bottles and making cocktails. That would only add to the festivities.
I would have done that and charged a pretty penny for it.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been great. What's your go-to cocktail?
I'm a huge Italian liqueurs. I love. So getting like the Negronis, the Boulevardiers, things like that, I absolutely love. I'm a huge whiskey drinker. So I'll, make me up a good riff on a Manhattan or something, and I'm all over that. Okay.
How do you feel about the Wisconsin Old Fashioned with brandy? Are you a fan?
I feel the same way as I do about the Packers. I'm out. No pack. No right. Wisconsin Old Fashioned. No.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first. As you've kind of seen this all come together, what makes you the most happy about the hurricane relief fundraiser here at Broken Clock?
Just seeing everybody come together to buy in. Because I've never done anything like this, the entire 2 months I'm just sitting there and I'm like, nobody's going to come. It's going to be stupid. We're not going to raise any money. It's going to be dumb. And, Sam, our events person, had to walk me off the ledge about 1 million times being like, if one person comes, it's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're doing something. You're doing something. It's okay. And so that was kind of the piece. And then to just see, asking someone for a donation. Like, I don't know how people at Fundraise do this. Like,
no.
But man, every person and every brewery has just been so cool about stepping up and being like, yeah, we're in. I got you. That's
really awesome. Yeah, I'm not good at asking people for money. When I was in college, one of the little many jobs I had to try to chip away at my tuition was like calling alumni and asking for donations, and I was so bad at it. I would talk, to have a conversation, and then I'd get to the end of like, well, this was great chatting with you. Have a good night.
Here's an
I'd hang up
envelope.
the phone, and then they'd be like, so did you get someone? I'm like, I forgot to ask them for money. So I
Real nice guy.
I would be the worst telemarketer because a great conversation, but I think I got a total of $15 the entire first semester. I'm like, you know what? This is not for me.
Yep.
I'm wasting your time, and this is just bad news. So, yeah, asking for money is difficult. I think it helps when it's a cause like this because I feel like it's a kind of a twofold thing. Obviously, it's when you see a city, I mean, some of the pictures and videos from it was almost unimaginable.
It's crazy.
The amount of water and rain and just like things were literally wiped off the map. So there's that part. You think about they were without clean water, electricity for a really long time. And then you think about the service industry there, the restaurants, the coffee shops, the bars, the breweries, the distilleries, and how across the board it's really difficult for everybody in those spaces. And then you add in a natural disaster of such magnitude, really breaks your heart. So I think it's like if people have a chance to give, it also, I think, puts into perspective what we all complain about every day. We really kind of have really minor complaints in the grand scheme of things. And so I think if you've got a cause like that, it's got to be easy for people to open up their pocketbooks and give. Is there a goal that you have in mind for, what you want to be able to give?
I thought about it a lot, and I was like, what would be a good number? And the reality is, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I'm hopeful.
$1 billion.
There we go.
$1 billion.
Where's the paper chain? We can for every. Yeah. I think I'm hoping that a lot of people are generous and a lot of people find their way down here tonight. I was really ecstatic to come down, and I was kind of excited all day to come and see what it would be, and just to share some communal space with some good people and for a good cause. I think it's very exciting. So I know that you're busy. I know that you've got a lot of stuff to do. So thank you for taking some time to chat and join me on a One Pint Stand.
I appreciate it. Thank you for helping us spread the vibe, spread the word. And
always my pleasure. I mean, as one of the members of Broken Clock,
as a fellow owner,
yes, I felt like I could definitely help out in this little way. So, yeah,
appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks for chatting.
Cheers.
We're now full on in the throes of the hurricane relief fundraiser here at Broken Clock. I'm being joined by a lanky man who needs no introduction. He's known in many circles, whether you're a brewery owner or a competitive can of ham shotgunning froth kind of a guy or gal or whomever. Matt Holton.
Thank you.
Welcome to a One Pint Stand here at Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative for their Hurricane Relief Fundraiser, a benefit to help send some money and some aid to Asheville to help them kind of repair and rebound from the catastrophic hurricanes. Now, Matt, you are one of the breweries who generously donated beer to kind of make this event happen. Talk me through, number one, your impetus for doing that, and then kind of like, why did you want to help out? What kind of inspired you?
Yeah, so there's there's so much going on in the beer industry right now with closings and struggles and everything else, and we found modest success, and I'm very happy for that. But to watch breweries in Asheville and anywhere else kind of suffer, it makes me want to help. And when Jeremy put out the bat signal on the industry page, I'm like, okay, what can I do? And it's donating a keg. It's not that much skin off my back that it's like, I'll whatever you want, man. Like, just come by. Like, I'll give you. You have a raffle going up, a couple gift cards, a couple of 4-packs, whatever.
Yeah, I saw. I'm hoping that I win the back rub that you generously offered.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
that's secret menu.
Real? Oh, well then, I think I just upped my chances of winning. Now, if we didn't say this at the outset, you are one of the 4 co-owners of Wandering Leaf Brewing in St. Paul, Minnesota. Yep. And one of the nice things about your establishment is that it is very welcoming. Also, if you need to get your oxygen fix, it's like a terrarium that serves beer. It's wonderful.
Well, I think I mentioned this on the last time I was on your podcast, and I'm forever trying to justify my horticulture degree.
Yeah.
So it's I see it every day. People ask, like, are the plants fake or whatever? And it's like, no. If they were fake, I'd be really, really embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, and kind of being a fan of Wandering Leaf Brewing in St. Paul, being a St. Paul resident myself, to have been in there literally from the opening. I went the opening weekend, and subsequently ever since, to see the plants continue to grow. It's really cool. Now, do you have a connection to Asheville at all? Have you ever been there?
I have not.
Okay.
So I've my tattoo here. I'm trying to get the state flower of every state I've been to a craft brewery in. North Carolina and much of the East Coast is absent on my arm.
Okay.
So I'm trying very hard. It's kind of like a travel tattoo.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to push out there.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't been out there yet.
Yeah.
But there's so many historic brands that have like production spaces or tap rooms or whatever else out in Asheville.
Yeah.
That I'm a big fan of, and like to watch any of those suffer it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really. I think that also speaks to, your brewery's generosity, to just be like, no, this is something I want to help, I want to support, and that's really cool. Also, I want to thank you on air for becoming a Patreon member.
Oh, thank you.
That means so much to me.
Yeah.
So I always knew you were a good human, but that goes above and beyond.
Well, I need to actually double check that because I need to charge back. I'm kidding.
No. This has been our first on-air Patreon cancellation.
I just need to make sure that actually went through because I'm deeply in debt.
So you're telling me I shouldn't have signed the lease on the Corvette? Oh boy. I need to call my car guy back. His name's Gil. Gil from The Simpsons. Oh, no, not today. I was going to make a sale. Oh.
Good Lord.
Now, what do you... So we're here at Broken Clock. We're doing the Hurricane Relief Fundraiser. This is kind of interesting. I talked to Jeremy earlier. He talked about the process to go through to get the permitting to have essentially a beer festival in your tap room. There's quite a few fantastic options on tap today. You brought your pale ale.
Yeah, Businesswoman Special.
Businesswoman Special. Yeah. I've had that at the tap room.
Yeah.
It's a good pale ale. A pale ale is a style I feel goes woefully underrepresented in Minnesota.
100%.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's just reflective of where the craft beer industry is headed. is that either people want something super light and crushable, or they want something really in your face with flavor, like whether that's a hazy IPA or a fruited sour or an imperial stout with, you know, a bunch of like chocolate and vanilla and whatever. And I'm not bemoaning any of that.
Right.
You know, like, you like what you like, and I'm not going to tell anyone to drink differently. But for me, a pale ale is just, you know, it's an easy beer that's got some flavor, and it's got enough bitterness to invite you to drink a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a style that I just love.
Yeah.
And I'm in the minority of that, and that's fine. So.
Yeah. We were also talking a couple minutes ago, feeling like I said I feel like I'm in the 3% of people that enjoy pumpkin beers.
Oh yeah.
And you said you're like, I think it might be more than that.
100%.
How do we bring pumpkin beers back to respectability so that they do not get shat upon by the seemingly large percentage of the populace?
I think it's going to be a cultural shift. People are just going to have to accept that, you know, not English is my first language, Matthew. Holy shit. My stutter starts to come out a little bit, but I think the point I'm trying to make is that we as a society and as people need to stop caring so much about what people think of us when we like our choice of beverage or choice of food, fashion, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you like pumpkin beers, enjoy it, embrace it.
Yes.
And if your friends or family are, you know, making fun of you for it, are they really your friends? I don't know.
Yeah.
And
slip a little laxative in their Shasta.
I 100%.
That's how you combat that negative talk.
Chaotic energy. Let's embrace it. You know, it's.
I'm here for it. Yeah. So, but in order for those of us pumpkin beer fans to be seen, we need brewers to brew pumpkin beers.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the pumpkin beer that was on tap at Wandering Leaf during the autumnal holidays.
Yeah, and I think that's the other side of the coin, too, is that the beer industry needs to embrace the fact that, you know, giving the customers what they want and not hating them for liking popular things.
Yes.
Like, that is a thing that I run into quite often, where, like, hazy IPA is king right now in craft beer, and it's going to remain king for a long time. It's an approachable, flavorful beer.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat it. And a lot of brewers don't like hazy IPA because it is approachable, it's acceptable, and people seem to love it.
Yeah.
And it's not cool anymore. It's like the kind of the hipster thing.
Yeah.
And when it comes like to sweet beers or flavored beers, they're not cool, they're not traditional, they're whatever, and they're not technically challenging to make.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the beer side of the industry, like the brewing side, really needs to get out of their own way on and just embrace the fact that people like what they like.
Yeah.
And don't deny them that.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you're grateful to have customers, man. Like, just
that's true. Yes.
Embrace that fact.
So. You know, I had a parole officer who used to say, "Don't yuck somebody's yum," and 100%. I think that could translate to that. So, I was ecstatic to see Wandering Leaf proudly represented here for the Hurricane Relief Fundraiser at Broken Clock, and I just want to thank you for taking time to come have a little mini chat, a little mini podcast with me, and I'll edit this all together, and we'll see who else decides to join on this on-location episode of A One Pint Stand. So I want to thank you for your time, Captain Holton.
Thank you.
Anybody call you that? What was your nickname in high school?
It was just Holton, or Little Holton. I'm the smallest of my brothers.
His other brothers were the models for the Statue of Liberty and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Because you're a tall lad. What size shoe do you wear?
I wear size 13s, but I have a cousin who wears 18s.
Oh, yowza. That's crazy.
He's got actual flippers.
Because we're going back to the... and there's like a webbing, too. It's very interesting. He on his birth certificate, he puts date of birth as Atlantis. It's a little out there. No, I was going to say, do you find with big feet it's just easier to crush cans?
No. 100% no.
Really? See, I feel like if I get it right under the heel, it's just like... We were joking, like doing a can of like Foster's or something, anything, just easy.
I get shown up a lot by our tapper manager Olivia, who crushes cans and heels every now and then.
Oh,
and I'm like,
okay.
I don't know how you're doing this.
Yeah,
but she has the most dainty sneeze you've ever heard, but the most outrageous belch you've ever heard as well. So
I wasn't sure where we were going with that, so I'm glad you said belch. That's great. Sounds like somebody's ripping apart a refrigerator box.
Olivia's amazing.
Okay, cool. Well, again, thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Appreciate you, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying a 1 pint stand. My aim of the show is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A 1 pint stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you should probably keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow a 1 pint stand on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter. I also started a TikTok account because I was tired of Charles calling me a boomer for not having one. We would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify and Apple Music or wherever it is you listen to us to help make it easier for other craft beer listeners to find us. If you want to be a supporter of the podcast with some extra change that you find in your couch cushions, I started a Patreon. There are 3 different levels of monthly support, and they are priced very reasonably at $1, $3, or $5 a month. Now, if you pledge at the $3 or $5 monthly level, you get some cool perks. So go to patreon.com and search a 1 pint stand to check it out. I am really excited to say that we are now up to 16 Patreon supporters, and that means a ton for the show. If you like reading about craft beer, you can check out my written work at a1pintstand.com. I love to write, and that is where you can find a lot of my written content that covers both local beer happenings and my craft beer travels. I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Now, before we head back to the show, let's talk about this episode's sponsor, Dual Citizen Brewing Company. Celebrating 7 years of fantastic beer this January, they've been pouring award-winning lagers and ales since 2018. Come visit the newly renovated Midway Taproom and sample some of their newest offerings from head brewer Ben Hebel. IPAs, lagers, stouts, you can find it all on tap, along with regular event programming like trivia nights, gaming nights, live music, and more. Make Dual Citizen your foam away from home. Learn more at dcbc.com.
How about a beer?
All right.
Sir.
Okay. And we're still rolling here at Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative for their Hurricane Relief Fundraiser. And it's just a festive atmosphere now. The sun's been down for several hours, and the traffic is starting to pick up. And I am being joined by Ansel Togar, the head brewer at Storm King.
Heck yeah.
In the North, that's considered the North Loop, downtown Minneapolis?
I think so. Yeah, we're one of them.
Yeah, a brew pub.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
With a strong barbecue culture.
Yeah. So how long have you been brewing there?
Only there for about 6 months now. I'm still kind of new to Minneapolis / Minnesota. Before this, I was in New York with other half brewing company. So being with Storm King has been very enlightening. Like I love Storm King because it allows me and empowers me to make the beers I want to make.
Okay.
I feel like I've spent a great deal of my life making beer for other people, making beer that they want to drink, making beer that they want to sell to Kroger or whatever. Storm King is a flexibility and an exercise in creativity. It's my opinion that I'm making the greatest recipes of my life. I'm making the greatest beers of my life through Storm King.
That's awesome.
It's really empowering. It's awesome, man. Like, beer is about creation and creativity, and they give me that in beautiful ways.
Where else other than New York have you brewed?
Oh, man. Oh, this is a fun subject.
Yes.
My first job ever was actually in rural Alaska, middle of nowhere.
Whoa.
Talkeetna, Alaska. It's a small town of about 400 people. It's very well known for the Iditarod race.
Okay, that's why I've heard about it. I'm like, that sounds familiar, and I've never been anywhere close to Alaska.
Oh, dude, it's like 200 miles away from the closest ship port. It's actually a really inconvenient place to brew beer. If I'm being honest with you, like, logistically, it doesn't make the most sense. But Talkeetna is what gave me my start, and I was only maybe 19, 20 years old at the time. I just graduated a beer school in Michigan, and they offered me a job to wash their kegs overnight. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I don't know anything about beer. This will really empower me to make me a better brewer, and it kind of did for like $12 an hour.
Hey.
So I got to wash kegs overnight for about a year through those guys. After doing that for a year, I went on to another brewery called 49th State in Anchorage.
Heard of that, yep.
Those guys are... If David's listening right now, I apologize, but I admire the hell out of you, dude. Those guys are some great brewers. I think 49th State are some of the greatest smoke brewers in America, which ties into today a little bit.
Okay.
So when I was at 49th, I really fell in love with smoked lagers. Like, I thought, this is the coolest freaking style. Not a lot of people do these things. About 3 months after joining 49th, COVID-19 happened. When COVID-19 happened, Alaska was decimated, especially in the cruise industry. I'd say I shouldn't say this out loud, but like 90% of 49th's business was probably cruise ships. It was somehow cruise ship related.
Okay. All right.
Some sort of tourism related endeavor there. After that stuff ceased, we got a lot less money. I found myself asking myself, how do I continue brewing in a way that keeps me employed?
Yeah.
We all got fired at 49th. We all got fired in Alaska. I think around that time, the only people in Alaska that really kept their jobs were Alaskan Brewing Company or Anchorage, the guys that had a stable income, if you will. Guys like myself, guys from 49th, guys from Turnagain, etc. We were in a weird boat.
Yeah.
Very weird boat, if you will. So I went on the internet. Again, I wasn't talented back then. I did not have the New York acumen. I was a decent brewer, but I was not where I am today.
Yeah.
So I went on the internet and I looked for brewing-related jobs during COVID. The first place that responded to me was Oscar Blues.
Okay.
And they had just built this multi-million-dollar facility in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, yo, that looks so freaking cool. They've got a big team. They've got a multi-million-dollar facility. I'm going to learn so much from these guys. They're going to teach me to be the brewer that I want to be. And so they did that. Like, I went to Oscar Blues, and that's where I fell in love with Asheville, North Carolina. I still love Asheville, North Carolina. That was my second place that I went after Alaska. Oscar Blues is a big facility. They've got a big name, obviously, Cigar City,
I've been
etc.
to the original spot outside of Boulder.
Longmont?
Longmont. What was the restaurant called? The Tasty Weasel or something like that?
Tasty Weasel.
I've been there, and like that was really cool. Like back in 2015, that was pretty awesome. Yeah.
No, it's a romantic place in my opinion. Like, even to this day, after everything is said and done, Oscar Blues made me who I am. I would not have the game I have today. I would not be making lagers the way I do today if it wasn't for Gary, if it wasn't for Jordan, if it wasn't for those guys.
Yeah.
I give great credit to the places I've come from. I'm nothing without them, and I mean that. So shout out Oscar Blues, shout out Cigar City, shout out Sierra Nevada, shout out New Belgium. And that's part of why I'm here today a little bit is 3-4 months ago, those people got hit by a really gnarly hurricane, man. It sucks. I remember getting hit up by friends immediately afterwards, like, yo, did you see what happened? What's going on? It's fucked up. And I felt powerless. I felt like I could do nothing about it. I felt like in that moment I was in Minnesota and like, there's nothing I can do to help these people, man. Like these are people that I brewed with. These are people that I was probably with a year ago. These are people that mean a lot to me. How do I help them in any capacity? And it's still so hard to answer that question from afar. It will always be hard to answer that question from afar.
Yeah.
But what we're doing today is a step in the right direction. It's a step to where I want to get in this community. I'm so proud of Broken Clock. I'm so proud of ourselves for gathering, for making this event possible. Look, the reality is I can't tell you the extension of North Carolina's brewing capacity in the state, but I'm so proud of this community for getting together.
Yeah.
Minneapolis is good about that. Like that's one of the reasons I moved here, man, is like I know this is a place that loves to be in love with its community.
Yes.
I hate living in an area where people don't go out for their neighbors, where people don't show up for their neighbors. Minneapolis is compelling in that way.
Yeah.
Even here, like I'm looking at strangers embrace other strangers, and that's part of the beauty, man. This place would make Asheville proud. If Asheville brewers could see this place right now, they'd be proud.
Yeah, I went to Asheville 2 summers ago and spent a week, and it was very transformative. I think about some of the just people I met in the breweries, some people I met working for breweries, and it definitely, like, people have been talking about Asheville for years, being like, that is Beer City, USA. You got to go there. And after traveling around the country and going to other beer cities, I'm like, okay, like, I get it. I did not realize just how tight-knit that entire area was.
Yo, it's not like Minneapolis in that way. I'd say I've come here maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah.
In the 3 months I've been here, when I go to large breweries in Minneapolis, sometimes there's an aversion. Sometimes there's some sort of social cognizance to avoid smaller brewers. Right now with Storm King, I'm a small-scale guy. I brew in 5, 10-barrel batches, best case scenario. What I loved about Asheville, it's not about how big you are. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter where you came from. If you make beer, we respect the hell out of you, period. If you do the same thing we do, I respect the hell out of you, period. I think in Minneapolis, sometimes there's an aversion. Sometimes when I go to giant breweries like a Surly or a Fair State or whatever, sometimes there's some more social cognizance in the way that we talk to each other, and I get it. I totally get it. Like, people worked hard to get to that point.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist in Asheville. What I loved about Asheville is I was Oscar Blues. If you were from Sierra Nevada, I was your neighbor. I shook your hand. If you were from Twin Leaf, which is like a 5-barrel brewery, you're my neighbor and I shake your hand. We're all the same. We all do the same thing over there. And I think that's what we need more of in this, beyond just beer. We need more of that in this world.
Just as humans.
Just getting along together, man. Yeah.
What were some of your favorite places, haunts? Talk to me about, breweries, restaurants, bars in the Asheville area, coffee shops.
Oh, geez. All right, my favorite beer bar ever, if you're ever in Asheville, North Carolina, definitely go to The Whale. The Whale is super sick, man. They have beer from Germany. They have beer from Poland. They have beer from Czechoslovakia. They have beer from Asheville, North Carolina. So, you should check them out. That's a great beer bar. I love any beer bar that has a geographically diverse tap list, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I like checking out other brewers. I hate going to a tap room that's only Minneapolis or only Asheville or only one city. We should be able to gauge each other's aptitude amongst each other, and I think The Whale is super cool about that. Number 2 spot I would go to is 12 Bones Barbecue in South Asheville. That's a big hot spot. In fact, I think Obama went there at some point.
That's what everybody said. Like, you have to go to 12 Bones.
Their pulled chicken is probably the greatest pulled chicken I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
Controversially, I think their macaroni and cheese is very medium. I could get into like a 12-page novel on the art of macaroni and cheese.
Word? Okay. So
it should be thick. It should be creamy.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So I, grew up in Minnesota my whole life, lived here, went to college here, now I work here. And barbecue is something that Minnesota, I have yet to find a place where I'm like, yeah, I want to go back there. But
check out Storm King.
Well, that's the thing. I haven't been there, so I'm going to ask you. So after traveling to Kansas City multiple times, after traveling to Louisville, Virginia, Asheville, and having like really good barbecue, you know what I'm talking about.
Heck yeah.
Is Storm King in the ballpark of those areas when we're talking quality?
Oh boy,
and
you're
now
really
here's a
putting me on
follow-up
stake.
question, and I know you're gonna have thoughts on this, but for me, barbecue is as much about the meat as it is the sides. And I had a biblical experience at 12 Bones when I had their corn pudding.
You're speaking my love language.
I know. I was like, what is this sorcery? This is crazy good.
No, you're so right, sir. You're so right, man. The sides are half the battle. The sides are half the battle. Look, at the end of the day, barbecue is a meal that's meant to be a 45-minute meal.
Yes.
When we have this meal, it's meant to be shared with friends, and we got to not be annoyed by those friends, and part of that is good food. I would say you're 1,000% right on the money where sides are so freaking important.
Yeah.
Like, they make half the battle in my book.
And you have to have, creamy mac and cheese, decadent, rich, over the top.
Man, like, it's like, I'm a Turkish guy living in America, and I know Thanksgiving is coming up soon. And I'm asking all of my local friends in Minneapolis,
what
does your mom cook? What does your mom cook? What are her sides? Does she have green bean casserole? Does she have X, Y, and Z? But what I'm trying to say is sides are so freaking important, and they make the meal complete. If we fail on that, then we're not doing ourselves a service.
Yeah.
So I'd agree with you, man. I'd say one of the better casserole side dishes that I think everybody should try in their life is an Asheville green bean casserole. Crunchy as hell, a little bit of onions, kind of creamy. But it's got a lot of green beans. It's got a lot of flavor. It's like Thanksgiving on steroids. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I'm excited to go back. I thought, my time there was way too short. Some places my heart aches for are, Zillicoa.
Oh, absolutely.
Hillman, New Origin, River Arts Brewing there, because there was just some freak big rainstorm that already screwed them over, and it seemed like, because I've been following them since I went there, and it seems like they were just getting back on their feet, and then the hurricane happened, and just seeing the images and the videos of all that, especially like any low-lying area, was just really, really sad. So I'm really happy that
I know personally,
Broken Clock.
Like I lived 5 feet away from Zillicoa. Like, Zillicoa was my place. That's where I went every day. They made me so happy as a young brewer. They gave me inspiration. They made me who I am today a little bit. And to lose them, they're going to come back. They're strong people. They're very intuitive people. But, like, it's so hard to watch that from a distance. It's so hard to watch that. And more than anything, I'm so freaking proud of Appalachia. I'm so freaking proud of Asheville, because those people will rebound. Those people will fight. Those people will go hard the next day.
Yeah.
It's unlike any other, like, I've lived in New York, I've lived in Alaska, whatever, but nobody fights harder than North Carolinians, in my opinion. They're going to live to see another day, and they're going to thrive throughout that day. They're going to make sure they thrive.
Yeah.
I love Carolina, and I could see myself back there someday. Just because I love them so much, man. Like, that's a community. That's a real, honest, humane community. And that's what I hope we can empower in Minneapolis through events like this. This is only a stepping stone to get there. But I love this community. I love North Carolina even more, but we're going to bridge it together, and we're going to be the best versions of ourselves we can be, especially in beer, because we're not indifferent. I've told people in North Carolina, like, hey, if you need a job, if you need something temporary, like, come up. I got you at Storm King. If it's part-time, whatever, like, I love y'all. Sorry, that's a tangent, but, like, I mean that, man. It's so hard to watch what's going on, and any way I can empower those people means the world to me.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. I would also like to, on a day other than today, do a more extended visit to Storm King.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Ansel, for coming on and your perspective and sharing some stories about your brewing career.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
You get people midway through a beer festival before they've really thought it out. Yeah, that's right. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait, just give it a little. Where's my air horn?
The last one
there it is.
To a head flyer. He's got his button bar loaded up with sound effects.
So you don't have to touch anything on there. Just like kind of talking. Can you hear yourself? Okay.
Yep, I can hear myself.
Okay. And hold on. Let me.
This is fancy.
This is next level podcast gear. All right. I want to get your. What's your last name, Katie?
Meyer, Meier.
Ier. Ooh, okay. And Gambit. What is your official title at Gambit?
Marketing manager.
Okay, marketing.
But I joke it's called director of fun, marketing and events.
Ooh, I like director of fun way better.
Marketing and events, because I do have the events too.
Okay.
I don't really have an official title.
Well, we're gonna say
director of fun.
Director of fun. All right. Welcome back. We are as the evening flows, so do the beers, and I have wrangled in another beer person. I'm being joined by Katie Meyer, who is the Gambit Brewing Director of Marketing and Events, but Director of Fun is probably more apropos. Katie, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Today. Katie wandered over, a little skeptical. I was like, what are you doing over here? I'm like, I'm doing a podcast. And so, and I was quick to point out when Katie said that she is involved with Gambit Brewing that the cold IPA that you all brought, chef's kiss.
Yeah,
very good.
So good.
Very good. So, tell me about how Gambit became involved with the Hurricane Relief Fundraiser.
Yeah, so we are super community focused. So we like to do a lot of community events, get involved in the community, especially actually in St. Paul Lower Town. So we do a lot of stuff with St. Paul Pride. Last year we donated lights, Christmas lights to Mears Park because the city didn't have enough funding to do that. So we just like to give back to the community in any way that we can. So things like this are fun for us to be a part of.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that because as a St. Paul resident myself, I love to support local St. Paul businesses who have a mindset to do good. Talk to me. So, Gambit is a brewery that has been open a little bit over 2 years thereabouts.
Almost 2 years in January.
Yep. Okay, January.
Yep.
Okay. The spot you're in.
Yeah.
That is a quirky.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Quirky space.
People are like, oh, it's like kind of a Cheers vibe or
That's
kind
just
of
what I was gonna say.
Boston. You walk down the stairs and it's kind of dark and it's hidden. And so that's kind of what the name Gambit means is like a surprise or, so you walk down the stairs and it's like, oh, you found this nice little place that you weren't expecting with really good beer. So
yeah. I've been there twice. I've enjoyed the beers. I haven't been there. It's been a while since I've been there. About a year and a half. So I went 2 times in quick succession when you opened. But you were telling me off air that you spent a significant chunk of time this week decorating for the holidays. Maybe Gambit is a place for people to really feel the Yuletide holiday vibes.
Yep. So we are like a block away from Union Depot, where they have the European Christmas markets. So we had a big crowd last year from that. Are hoping to have even bigger crowds from that this year. And so, yeah, we just decked out the place, really got in the spirit. Every day I walked home with glitter, like, all over me, in my hair, on my clothes.
Have you developed a tinsel allergy yet?
Yeah, no, I probably, soon I will.
Yeah. What can you say about, if somebody hasn't been to Gambit yet, what are the beers like?
We have a really big variety, and honestly, we change our stuff all the time, so it just kind of depends on when you go. Right now, we're pretty hazy IPA focused, which is a little bit unusual for us. I think we have 3 hazies on right now. And then sometimes we'll have a lot of more like kind of traditional styles, Pilsners, German beers. So it just kind of depends. We have stuff really all over, and kind of our goal is to have something that anyone can find, and like. We also have a bunch of hard seltzers, and so that's kind of a specialty too. So if you are going with people and they don't really like beer, we have a huge selection of seltzers.
Right.
So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, and I just was watching the news last night, and the big thing at CHS Field, also the Christmas lights.
Oh, glow, yeah.
That seems like there's going to get a lot of people. The nice thing about that area of downtown is that while as a 45-year-old, I will say parking can be a little tricky, once you're down there, everything is easy to get to.
Yep,
so if you're going to
exactly.
Glow, if you're going to the holiday market at Union Depot, Gambit Brewing should be on your radar and amongst the things you're doing that day or evening to go in and try the beers. Do you have a favorite beer currently at Gambit? Like, what's your flavor of choice?
Right now, actually, Josh, the brewer / owner, so we go out these beer fests in the summer, Beer Dabbler, whatever, and people would be like, how come you don't have any sours? And Josh is like, I don't like sours.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
we're like, you need to brew a sour. Come on. We did have like a Berliner Weiss for a while, but we have a new beer, actually 2 of them. It's a series. It's called Fruity Nonsense. So that just came out last week. So there's a raspberry cobbler, and then one just came out today. It's a guava, pineapple, mango. So those I've just been like drinking like juice.
Hey,
so
there you go.
But yeah, it's funny. Josh was like, I don't like the Fruity Nonsense. And we're like, well, that's a perfect name for the beer, Fruity Nonsense.
Yes.
So it's super good. We've got a lot of good feedback about it. So.
That's awesome. Gambit is celebrating an anniversary in January.
Yep.
Do you have any details about that event, being that you are the director of fun
So
at Gambit?
we're probably going to push it a little bit into the spring just to do something outside. I think we're going to actually get a licensing access for our alley next door.
Oh, yeah.
And get some big bands in. So it'll probably be more around April than January. Last year we celebrated our 1 year, I think, in March. So we've been pushing it a little bit.
That's
so
smart.
yeah, but a bunch of big beer releases and bands, and it'll be super fun.
Yeah.
So kind of like a summer's almost here. Let's celebrate.
So when you're not drinking at Gambit, what are some of your other go-to breweries that you enjoy?
Yeah, so I love Barrel Theory, and they're walking distance from Gambit too. They always have good stuff on tap. And also Metronome is walking distance too, more Belgian styles, and they have awesome jazz music. Black Stack I love. Trying to think. Sometimes it's so hard. You go to so many breweries.
Right.
There's not many I don't like. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. What's been something that you've had tonight? Again, I mentioned that you brought a cold IPA, which is a sensational beer. What are some other beers that you've had this evening that you've really enjoyed?
I had the Dangerous Man. Was it like a coffee coffee cream ale.
Oh, yeah.
That was super good and surprising. Super like coffee forward, but was really light. And what else? Oh, the Dark Horse Porter from Boom Island was also super good. And then actually a Broken Clocks Kettle Sour, super good too. So yeah, everything I've had has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is such a fun event.
Good. Well, I'm happy you wandered over. This was nice to chat with you and meet you. So maybe
Thanks for having me.
Maybe sometime in the not too distant early 2025, I can bring my podcasting gear on down to down the stairway at Gambit and have a proper podcast.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
nice
so
to
much.
meet you.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you. Cheers.
I want to thank Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative for allowing me to post up in their tap room during their Hurricane Relief Fundraiser Beer Festival. I also want to shout out the 19 Minnesota craft breweries and cideries who donated beer to be poured at the event. Without that type of generosity, the event would just not have been possible. So that was a huge, huge, huge act of kindness. So I want to give big virtual hugs to Boom Island Brewing, Gambit Brewing, Storm King Brew Pub, Wooden Ship Brewery, Mana Brewing, Indeed Brewing, Heavy Rotation Brewing, 56 Brewing, Wabasha Brewing, Dangerous Man Brewing, Badger Hill Brewing, Wild State Cider, Dual Citizen Brewing Company, Alloy Brewing, Wandering Leaf Brewing, Lift Bridge Brewery, Forgotten Star Brewing, and Unmapped Brewing. All of these places answered the call without any hesitation, and that meant so much to so many people. For me, being able to do a small part to help raise money for North Carolinians was something that I felt very much called to do. Whether you maybe you know, maybe you don't know, 2 summers ago, I spent a week in Asheville, North Carolina, immersing myself in their craft beer scene and getting to know the town and the people. I chose Asheville because of its peerless craft brewery scene. I think they've been voted Beer City USA at least 2 times. However, the biggest takeaway and the biggest thing I brought back with me was a full heart, thanks to the level of true Southern hospitality I experienced there. And so it's been just this magical place. And I think if you've traveled anywhere and had your heart changed for the better by the people or the experiences, that place lives on in your memory banks as a special place. So, you know, it's just absolutely gut-wrenching and heartbreaking to see that level of devastation that befell Asheville and the surrounding towns. Some of the most charming and high-quality breweries I enjoyed when I was there were New Origin Brewing, obviously with ties to Minnesota, and Zillicoa Brewing in a neighboring town. Those places were completely destroyed. So, you know, in this season of giving, if you feel like you want to try to do some good and help out these breweries with the need and arduous task of rebuilding, I'd offer you to consider donating to the GoFundMe pages for New Origin Brewing and Zillicoa Brewing. I know that both of those places, they were not the only 2, obviously, that faced a ton of damage, but New Origin was essentially leveled down to a concrete slab. So they have a long road ahead of them, but I know that they want to rebuild, and it just, you know, I want other people to be able to go and have those experiences that I had. And if they can't rebuild, that will leave a huge void in the Asheville and surrounding area craft beer community. So, you know, they're both small, independent, and special craft beer places. So if you can help at all, go to their GoFundMe pages and just give what you can. Now, I want to give a special thank you to Chuck Dorsey, Vicky Epper, Daniel Fisher, Todd Fitzloff, Matt Holton, Cable Lefto, Ben Michaels, Sophia Masagi, Brent Newman, Bree Smith, and Sarah Cry Valento for being Kegstander level supporters of the A One Pint Stand Patreon. You've all shown incredible generosity, and I'm truly grateful for it. Cheers to all 11 of you. Now, before I say goodbye, I want to give a huge thanks again to the sponsor for this episode, Dual Citizen Brewing Company. For nearly 7 years, Dual Citizen has proudly served the Minneapolis and St. Paul communities with both cold, fresh beer and event programming for everyone. To stay up to date with all the latest offerings and happenings at the taproom and beyond, visit dcbc.com. Now, this is the last episode of 2024. It's been a big year for a One Pint Stand. It seems like folks are really finding our episodes now more than ever. 2024 meant the show's first sponsorships. It meant the start of the A One Pint Stand Patreon, and I'm going to be truthful with you. I thought, okay, I'll start a Patreon and see what happens. I thought I'd be lucky to get, three or five supporters. Well, here we are at the end of 2024, and we're at 16 and growing. So that's just tremendous, and I'm eternally grateful for that. This podcast means so much to me because it provides me with a way to creatively share my passion for storytelling and conversation about a topic I care deeply about. I'm incredibly lucky to have people who like the show and are willing to tell others about it. The friends that I've made through this podcast I'm incredibly grateful for. So I just wanted to thank everyone who has listened and been on the podcast. There will be a Patreon-only Best of 2024 highlight show that is going to go up at the end of December. So if you've been kind of on the fence about maybe joining the Patreon, you can join the Patreon. And if you join at the $3 or $5 level, you'll have access to the Patreon-only episodes. So I'm really looking forward to see what 2025 will bring. I know that we already have 7 of the 24 show slots filled up with sponsors, and that is very exciting to me. So if you're listening to this and you're affiliated with a brewery or brewery-adjacent business and you feel like this show would be a good way to advertise your brand to a very hyper-local audience, get in contact with me. I'm also cooking up some great content to keep you wanting to listen, learn, and laugh along with me and my guests. So thank you all for listening and supporting. With that, this has been another episode of A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers. This has been our first on-air Patreon cancellation.
I just need to make sure that actually went through because I'm deeply in debt.
So you're telling me I shouldn't have signed the lease on the Corvette? Oh, boy. I need to call my car guy back. His name's Gil. Gil from The Simpsons. Oh, no, not today. I was going to make a sale. Oh.
Good Lord.